Hi guys, so Merry Christmas. It is Christmas morning. We opened up all our gifts, but we are going out to a friend's house for dinner, friends that became family down here in Tennessee. So one dish that I make is called Sartu de Risi, and it is a recipe from Giada that she made on her cooking show with her aunt. And basically, if you can see this picture, it is a rice ball that she made as a bundt. So we call it the rice bundt. But it's called Sartu de Risi. So I will list the recipe down below. And yeah, it's so delicious. So it tastes just like a rice ball. Rice balls are usually fried, so this one's baked. And this is like the third or fourth, I think this is the fourth year I've made it. So I'm browning up some ground beef. So this becomes the interior, the middle of the rice bundt. So just browning up some ground beef, and I want to get it really fine. So I'm going to chop it up, and I just put a little bit of salt. And then I'm going to throw peas in it and marinara sauce, and that's done. And then I also have to make risotto. But I'm just doing this for now. I got some eggs because we still didn't eat breakfast yet. But yeah, so that is step one. So the meat is cooked. And I chopped it up fine because, I don't want to cut into the rice ball and big chunks of meat. So I chopped it up as fine as I could with my little chopper. And then we're going to add some peas. Oops, and I just got them all over the counter and the floor. Nice. Put some peas in there. They'll cook. And then the marinara sauce. So now in Giada's recipe, she actually makes her own sauce like right then and there. But I pre-made my marinara sauce, and of course you can use any other jarred sauce that you like. But I'm gonna, oh wow, that's a big jar. I can't grab it with one hand. That's my right hand too. All right, so I'm gonna pour some marinara sauce, and then I want it to simmer. Let me see if that's enough. You want it to coat, but you don't need it too saucy. No, I'm going to need to put more. I think this was about 1.5 pounds of meat. I don't know if it requires that much, but yeah, I'm going to need more sauce. So I ended up putting the whole jar. So yeah, I'm going to let that simmer and the meat gets nice and tender. Like I said, I only put a little bit of salt. Yeah, look at that. So delicious. So I don't know if anyone knows what a rice ball is, but basically this is this type of meat with little peas in the middle of risotto that you mix cheese and egg in. And so it could bind, and you wrap it around. So it's like a big meatball, but the rice is on the outside. Then they flour, egg, and bread it, and then fry it. So this is a bundt of the same ingredients, but it's not fried. Yes, this is perfect. So I'm going to cover that and let that simmer. And then I could start on the risotto. Now for the risotto, I put a little bit of butter at the bottom of a pot. And then you need 2 1/3 cups of risotto. So I'm going to add 2 1/3 cup of risotto to the butter. So there is the 2 1/3 cups of risotto rice. And I'm just going to let that heat up with the butter. Just a little bit. Her recipe, when you look at it, there's a lot more steps and ingredients. Mine is just simple, and it comes out good. So you can do it her way or my way. I do it the simple way. So I got the 2 1/3 cup of arborio rice, which is risotto rice. And then you need 4 cups of low sodium chicken broth. I don't have 4 cups of chicken broth. I usually make my own and I freeze them. That's all that I have left, so I'm going to strain that. That might be a cup. And then the remainder of 3 cups, I'll just use water, which is fine. And then 1 3/4 teaspoon of salt and 1 bay leaf. So that's just going to cook like that. So let me strain my broth so all that chicken stuff can come out. There, you can hear the sizzle a little bit. So just cooking up the rice a little bit. So I have, I have the 2 1/3 cup rice in there, which I toasted up a little bit with butter. And then it's 1 3/4 teaspoon of salt with 4 cups of water or chicken broth. I obviously did a combination. And then, see, usually with risotto, you add the liquid little by little, but that's to get the creamy consistency. But for the rice ball, you don't need the creamy consistency. So you put it all in one pot. We're going to bring the water to a boil, the liquid to a boil. And once it boils, then we're going to lower the flame, cover it, and let it sit there. And just keep checking up on it and stirring every once in a while. But it's a much quicker way of cooking risotto, but you're not going to get the creamy consistency. Oh, and they also want 1 bay leaf. So I'm going to put 1 bay leaf in. There's the bay leaf. So just going to wait until this boils, and once it does, I'll cover it and lower it. Okay, so it's coming to a little boil, but I'm going to lower it now and cover it. So I got it on a low flame, and I covered it. Do a better cover. And then I'm just going to keep an eye on it until all the water evaporates, and I'm going to continue stirring it, like, periodically, just to make sure it's not sticking or anything like that. But until I can, eventually it's nice and fluffy, and it's not, the rice is not hard to bite. So just keep an eye on that. So the meat's done. And that's done. And then what happens is once that rice is done, you got to let it cool. So started early. We're going over at 4, so got plenty of time. The rice is done. Look at that. It's nice and fluffy. So now I just got to let it sit there and cool down because I have to add egg and Parmesan cheese. So I got to grate that. But then assemble it together. So, and then I'm going to cook it before we have to leave because we bring that to someone's house. So got to time it so that it's done and we go. Rice is nicely cooled. So you add 3 eggs and 2 1/2 cups of Parmesan cheese, but I'm just going to eyeball it. That's kind of like 1, 2, and a little half. And then you mix it very well. Gonna need 2 hands for that, but you mix it all together. I'll put that in a container and we can use it for pasta. So next, you butter the pan really well. I might have to fix that a little bit. Hold up. Okay, that's a little better. Anyway, then you pour some breadcrumbs in it. And then you have to kind of move the pan around so the breadcrumbs get all over the walls on both sides. So let me do that. There. So I coated it all with the breadcrumbs. And these are the Trader Joe ones. Then you take the rice mixture. Take the rice mixture, and I use my hands, and you actually have to use like 2/3 of the rice mixture, and you're going to make that layer. And you're going to try to scoop it up to make like a U shape so that the rice is going up each wall. not just the bottom. Okay, so kind of like that. See, so I made it go up the sides. It looks better when you eat it, trust me. And then you fill the middle with the meat sauce. So you put a nice little layer of meat sauce. Like that. So yeah, Giada De Laurentiis's recipe, she uses sausages and I think she puts egg and breadcrumbs and milk in the meat mixture and makes like little meatballs, but I keep it simple. Jarred sauce. I make my own, but if I had not made my own, just any jarred sauce there, and then you have this layer. Okay, that should be good. And in Long Island, there's a restaurant called Chow Babies where you get like a rice ball the size of like, it's almost like, it feels like a soccer ball. And that one's done the traditional way, nice and round. Then I cubed up some mozzarella, fresh mozzarella, and I'm just going to throw it in. So like another little layer all around. And then my extra meat sauce, we can eat with pasta one day. Okay. 70 degrees out here in Tennessee. You hear the kids playing outside. I think I smell someone grilling. Smell grill. Okay. And then the rest of the rice goes on top. So there it is. Ooh, let me just try to cover this part a little bit. That's as best as I can do it. Okay. So now you have the top coating of the rice. Then you pour some more breadcrumbs. You just sprinkle a little bit just to coat the top. There you go. And then you put some dots of butter, and then we're going to bake it after that. So there you go. Breadcrumbs and some pats of butter. Sorry about that. And then I have my oven going to 355 because my Whirlpool doesn't work at 350. It just shuts off after a while. So 355, and it's going to bake for 45 minutes until golden on top. So my last Christmas recipe that I always make for Christmas, and this one I've been making way longer than just the 3 or 4 years that I've been doing the rainbow cookies or the rice Bundt. And it's called an Antipasto braid. So it's all the foods, all the fixings that you see on an antipasto plate. You know, red roasted peppers. Where is it? So I got red roasted peppers. I got diced onion, black olive, sorry, which I don't use that whole can. Hearts of palm. What else I got? I have fresh mozzarella cheese inside the refrigerator, and pepperoni, and artichoke hearts, and then some marinated mushrooms, which is in the oven. The refrigerator. So all that Italian goodness. And I have the crescent roll, the crescent roll bread, Pillsbury dough, and I make a braid out of it. So this recipe came from a lady that I used to work with years ago. She invited us to her house, and she had it as a pie. So she had the crescent dough on the bottom of a 9x13 dish, all that goodness in the middle, and then the crescent roll on top. And so it came out like a pie. So I used to make it like that until I learned how to make those braids from Pampered Chef. So now I put it in the middle of the braid, and then I braid the crescent dough around it and bake it. So that way you're not bringing a dish and have to worry about washing the dish and taking it home or leaving it and blah, blah, blah. So now we just bring the braids, and they put it on their own cutting board or whatever, heat it up, and it's so good. So now I do it as the braids. So my first step is opening up all these cans and jars. And then I have to chop you know, not too finely, but chop them up, dice them up, all the vegetables into one big bowl with a colander. Here's my bowl. It's a Pampered Chef bowl. Shocking. With a colander inside because I want everything to drain. So I have marinated artichoke hearts. And I mean, you could get the water or the oil or whatever, because we are going to be adding oil and Italian seasoning. So if it's in the oil, that's fine. But the quartered hearts, I just kind of chopped up into 3 pieces because I kind of want those type of bite sizes. I don't want too little. And then they shred, you know, because they're in layers with the leaves. But yeah, this is such a tasty dish. So then there, I'm going to just throw all these pieces in a bowl. There's 1 jar. I bought 2 jars. I always buy extra just in case because I do have a lot of crescent dough rolls. But I don't think I need 2 jars right now because I want to just bring 2 braids with us because there's going to be a lot of food over there. So there is 1 jar of the red roasted peppers that I diced up. So I'm going to throw that in the bowl as well. And then I'll get the mushrooms, the mozzarella, the pepperoni. So yeah, probably 1 jar would have done fine. In fact, I might have a lot of extra insides. These are hearts of palm. I don't know if everyone knows what a hearts of palm is. I'm believing it's inside of a palm tree. Not 100% sure, but it reminds me of artichoke. So it kind of gives me that artichoke type of tasting, that artichoke heart. You know, that kind of taste and flavor. So this was only 1 jar. There was 5 of them. So I'm going to just cut up 2.5. I'm going to slice them thinly and throw that in the bowl as well. So there they are. And then I'm going to throw them in. So here's black olives. Definitely not that whole jar. I wanted a small jar, but I ordered it on the Kroger pickup, so I couldn't really tell how big the jar was. So I'm just going to dice these small because we're not olive fans, so we don't mind when they're small and they're in, you know, other stuff. But I don't like biting into a whole olive. So these are sliced, but I'm going to just dice them up a little more. And then these are marinated artichoke hearts. So these came from the, what do you call it? Like the salad bar. That might be a lot actually. I don't know. But anyway, I chopped them up. And then I'm going to throw them in. Yeah, I don't know. You know, if you try to do equal portions, but some get more overpowering than the others. I'm going to throw them all in. Throw them all in, and then I got the fresh mozzarella and the pepperoni left. So I added the pepperoni, and I added the fresh mozzarella. So that's all in there. Then I'm going to drizzle it with some olive oil. And then I leave it in the colander in the bowl because you want all the water to drain from, you know, all those jars and stuff like that. So just a little bit of olive oil. And then you sprinkle some Italian seasoning. And then you just let it sit there. Just toss it. Well, let me do that. Hold on. It's probably like 1 or 2 tablespoons. Then we're going to toss it. And then leave it in the colander. Probably going to leave it in there for a good 15 minutes to 30 minutes. So all the water can really come out of all those vegetables because you don't want the bread to get soggy. So look at all the water that has come out and oil. So I'm going to drain that. And then I have my crescent rolls. I don't know if that'll fill 3 or 2. So I got 3 of them right now. So I have a parchment paper the size of my bar pan here. And I rolled out one of the crescent doughs as best as I could. So now I'm going to actually like seal up the little seams because I wish they, you know, I think they do. They make some, but I can never find it. I found it once, crescent dough roll with no seams. So I'm going to just stitch up the seams as best as I could. Once you did that, then you make little cuts along the edges, both sides. And try to do them even amount. So I do them about 1 inch apart. Yeah, I learned this from Pampered Chef. I think it was like a spinach artichoke dip recipe that they would put in the middle. Sorry. Okay, then I gotta do the other side, but I kind of need my left hand. So there, I have the edges, the ends all sliced up. Then you take your mixture, which I'm gonna need all my attention, and I'm gonna fill up the middle. There you go, all filled, all veggie goodness. Then you take one on one side, then one on the other side, and you just keep doing the crisscross pattern. They show this in Pampered Chef. You could put taco stuff in the middle, the spinach artichoke dip. I do the antipasto. Oop, that one broke. Okay. And you just keep going. Oopsie. Those stuck. I now have the oven at 355. I think the crescent dough is supposed to be at 375, but I'm gonna put it at 355 until it's golden. Nope, that one I didn't seam in too well. After a while, it doesn't go downward, so we're gonna go this way now. There you go. Almost lost that little pattern there, but that's fine. Nope, a little uneven. I made an extra one on this side. Oh no. That happens. Like I said, they do make it seamless, but I found it once. And then this one will seal the deal. Yeah, that's as good as it's gonna get. So there's the braid. Then with parchment paper, put it on the bar pan, put it in the oven. And I have plenty of filling to make like 2 more. So I am gonna make 2 more. I don't put them on the same pan because I did that one year, and the area between both loaves took a longer time to cook. So each one's getting its own pan, and one I'm going to keep home. So me and John, we actually love to eat this for breakfast sometimes. I mean, it's filled with vegetable. It's so good. So sometimes we just eat it for breakfast. So I'm going to keep one at home. So I have the one in the oven and 2 more on standby. So I'd rather cook them separately. I think this shut off at 355. Look at that. All golden and bubbly. So now 1 down, 2 more to go. and the rice Bundt. So 2 are done, and so is the rice ball. It is still sizzling. So I do have a round plate. We're going to bring that because not everyone has a big round plate. So we're going to bring that with us to flip it, and I will show you what it looks like over there. That's the rice ball Bundt.
Before that, we just had like little.
Yay! So that's the rice ball Bundt.
That's a Bundt.
There you go.
So you're not drinking because you're working tomorrow, or you gave up already? I thought this is my last time to drink with you.
I'm just disgusted with myself.
Oh.
It's food and drinks.
So you can have food and drinks with all your other friends but me.
I knew you were going to say
Oh.
that. And that mug looks very
See that?
inviting, too.
Cheese. Look at that. And then you can put ricotta cheese on it or more sauce.
All right, Just a little.
Merry Christmas.
Just